So what's good, homies? It's your man, Dr. BOA. You know, one of the weirdest things that we see is when successful men settle for women who really don't like them, who really don't want to be with them, but don't have any better options when it comes to securing the bag. And what these men found out a lot of the times is that those women were already involved with other men that they preferred, but who just didn't have the propensity to get a bigger bag at that particular time. And also, things tend to come out later on down the line that you didn't even know were going on during the course of the relationship, especially in the event of a divorce. And one such example is Sonya Curry. Now, we've already covered how Sonya Curry was traipsing around with one of Dell's homies while they were married. You understand what I'm saying? And I mean, even now, later on, like they have such an amazing relationship that she's still seen in pictures with him now. And, you know, at one point they had gotten back together and were really, really hanging out, kicking it like a couple. And we've seen other behaviors of Sonya Curry, and we've also seen how she's rubbed off on Steph Curry's wife, Aisha. But this thing that she's saying now has taken even me by surprise. She says she almost aborted Steph Curry. Now, we're not going to make a big deal out of that. Many women make that consideration and end up having their child. Some women make that consideration and don't have the child. They go ahead and go through with that. But that's not the alarming thing here. The alarming thing here is Dell Curry was good enough for her to marry, and she didn't turn him down when he proposed. Probably put a little pressure on him. She didn't turn him down when he put her in that big pretty house. She didn't turn him down when he gave her access to the money. She didn't turn him down when he had her up in the skybox with the team up there twerking on the players and the executives and all of that. She turned none of that down. But the very moment it was time to have that man's child, she didn't want to do it. She had to be convinced to do it. She had to be coerced to do it. She had to be promised some benefit for doing it. I mean, even with the understanding that in the event of divorce, she would be able to get child support from the man of an exorbitant amount, she still almost didn't have this kid. There was almost no Steph in Wardell Curry. But I tell you what this really indicates. You have to be sure that a woman is not with you because she doesn't have a better financial option. Now, am I saying that that's comparing a man who has nothing to a man who has something? No. If one man has $1 million and another man has $500,000, there's no huge difference. But if one man has the potential to make $20 million and the other man is going to be stuck at $500,000, then that man who has $20 million has to ask himself, why would he take a chance on being with that woman who he knows doesn't even interact with him like he's her preference? See, if you're not a woman's preference, then you abhor her. There's only two distinctions. Either a woman prefers you or she abhors you. And if she abhors you, she might as well ignore you because that's what she's going to do. You got to win her over. You can look at the household and tell that Sonya Curry wore the pants in it. Look when things transpired between her and Dell. Steph, Seth. They all ran over to their mother's side to protect their mother. See, we live in a society that tells you that you need to protect your mother even when your mother is the offender. But I'm from an environment where my father is the most important thing in my life. And I get that. I'm not rubbing it in. I know many of you men didn't grow up with your father. Many of you men didn't have your father and grandfather and other multiple male role models around you growing up, and I get that. That's why I'm speaking to you from the perspective of a man who did. This woman has been showing this man from the beginning that she didn't want anything to do with him but his money. And that's why you can't get any sympathy from me. If you're a man and you know for a fact, whether you ignore it or not, see, you ignoring it doesn't matter. Ignorance is no excuse. I'm talking about you Taking your time to put a woman in a winning position in your life, and the woman don't even want you to win. She just want to benefit from the winning that you're already doing on your own. Anytime a woman wants to get rid of your child, man, that woman hates you. You got to think about what that indicates. That woman doesn't want another part of you. She doesn't want to be attached to another version of you. She can barely stand to be attached to the version of you that's here now. Especially if you're financially situated. Successful, professional athlete. And even though professional athletes didn't make what they make now, we're not talking about going back so far where guys had to have a second job. They made good enough money to live a wonderful life back when Dale was playing. We're not talking about back when Oscar Robertson was playing. So he may not be making what Steph is making, but he was making a decent amount of money, a great amount of money, especially compared to the average individual out here, to the average person in the workplace. And also, things were a lot cheaper back then. So what you have to understand is when a woman shows you these things, man, you have to flee the scene. You have to flee the scene. Because I'm going to be honest with you. When it comes to the prospect of divorce, it's better to divorce while you're still young and you can make more money. It sucks to divorce. You've been with a woman the whole time, all the while you making all this money, and now that the money ain't coming like it was, now you got to divorce and still give her half. You've been giving her access to everything you had all of this time, and now you got to get a half of what you got left. That's why I tell you, man, if you don't want to be in a situation with a woman, man, go ahead and get out of it. Go ahead and get out of it. That's what she's going to do. But see, she's more likely to stick in there because there are more benefits to her. Now, why would a woman who doesn't like this man, who cheats on this man with his classmate, and let's just keep it a buck, his classmate was non-black, so let's put it there. So obviously her preference isn't even Dale. You ain't got to stop flying by the seat of your pants, man, and thinking that you got the best thing around just because a woman look good. Think you got the best thing around just because you enjoy having a woman around. A lot of y'all marry a woman that y'all think y'all friends with. Dude, you want to marry your friend? If you were my homie, I'd be watching you, man. Like, what you mean you marry your friends? Come on, bro. You marry a woman that dedicated to the process of your progress, and I'm going to be honest with you, any woman that willing to get rid of your seed, man, she is not dedicated to the process of your progress by any means. Is she dedicated to the process of your progress? So that's why when we see these pictures of Dale hanging out like this, we can't complain about that. No one can complain about that. Because here's a woman who has shown this man, not in quite the egregious manner that Jada has been showing Will that she hates his guts, but we're talking about this woman has done some things and said some things already to let the world know that she doesn't really care about Dale Curry at all. But this thing lets the world know that she actually never did love this guy. You know, Steph's in his 30s now, man. And we're talking about 35, 40 years ago, this woman had to be coerced. She had to pray about it. Something had to convince her. She had to go to meeting to find out if she was supposed to keep this man's child. We talk about this man's firstborn, this man's oldest child, man. This man's son. The same son who patterned himself after his dad, the same son that was going to the gym with his dad, the same son that was shooting around and became a greater shooter than his dad was. She didn't want to have him. She didn't want anything to do with the marriage responsibility. She didn't want to be a great wife. She obviously didn't want to be a mother at first. Because there's no reason for a woman who knows a man in college, marries that man goes into his career, she's his wife, to ever consider abortion. No married woman should consider not carrying a child a full term, barring some incredulous health risk. And obviously, due to the fact that along came Seth and Sadell, that wasn't the case. This was just a woman who married a man who she didn't love. And when it came time to do the things that women want to do when they love you, be faithful, have your children, protect your honor with her actions, she don't want to do those things. Which means that Dale has known for a long time that that woman didn't love him and didn't even appreciate it. And certainly didn't respect it. A virtuous woman is a crown to her husband. But a scallywag, it's like rottenness in his bones. Y'all comment down below and let me know what you think about this topic, man. I look forward to hearing what you men have to say. I'm out.
Alphas up, betas down, it's the motto. Simps claiming that they pimps, but they not though. Alphas up, betas down, it's the motto. Suckers claiming to be players, but they not though. Alphas up, betas down, it's the motto. Tricks acting like they max, but they not though. Alphas up, betas down, it's the motto. Betas claiming to be alpha, but they not though. Now I'm not gonna tell you, man, that you shouldn't value your woman at all. A woman does have value, but you can't overvalue her